My name is Daniel Gardner, you're watching Chasing Cars, and today I'm in Los Angeles, California to see the third member of the Ioniq family, this car, the Ioniq 9. It joins the 5 and 6, and it is big, really big. Now I've come all this way to explore some of the features of this car. It's coming to Australia in the first quarter of 2025, but there's even more exciting news, which I'm going to save to the end.
Chasing Cars, honest reviews of your next car.
Brought to you by
Budget Direct.
The Ioniq 9 is big. Let's talk dimensions. More than 5 meters long and the longest wheelbase of any Hyundai to date. It's 3,130 if my memory serves me correctly, which means tons of space inside, but we'll have a look at the cabin shortly. Before that, let's have a look at some of the exterior details. So we've got more of this amazing pixel design that Hyundai is rolling out across all of its models that have anything to do with electrification. You won't see the pixel design on a purely internally combustion engine powered vehicle, but anything Ioniq or electric related, you'll see this pixel design. The one exception to that, just if you're interested, is the Staria, which of course is only available as an internal combustion engine van at the moment, but watch this space. You've got tons of sensors. The whole front of this car is covered in them. You've got radar, sonar, and the camera here as well for 360-degree vision. Moving down the side, tons going on. It's a very clean design, but there's loads of details. These forms over the top of the wheel arches. Is it just me that's seeing a little bit of Kia Tasman in that? That may or may not be a good thing, but you look at this whole design, there's very few steps in it. It's very smooth, and that means this car is extremely slippery. 0.26, I think, is the drag coefficient, which we've seen that in sports cars and slippery cars before, but this, look at it, it's a massive 7-seat SUV, so very, very difficult to get that drag coefficient down that low. We have a variety of wheel sizes, starting at 19 inches. This is the 21-inch wheel, which you can see has this amazing jet engine turbine impeller sort of design. Very efficient, but also looks cool. This one is clearly a higher spec version. I think this is probably going to be like the Caligraphy, and with that you get the option to get a digital side view mirror camera. Don't know how I feel about those. We'll jump inside in a minute and see exactly how well they work in practice. Pop-out handles, which of course increase aerodynamics as well and reduce the drag even further still, which extends battery life. Let's talk about the battery. Under this thing, it has a 110.3 kilowatt hour battery, absolutely massive, and it can power up to 2 motors. There'll be 3 variants available, a rear-wheel drive and a pair of 4-wheel drive versions. The performance version gets 2 160 kilowatt motors. If you go the rear-wheel drive, it gets 1 at the back, and if you go the intermediate variant, you get a smaller motor on the front axle. At the back, more of this lovely pixelated design. I mentioned the Staria before. It's a little bit like that back here, and maybe even a little bit of Volvo design creeping in there. Either way, I absolutely love it. I think the rear end on this thing is absolutely its best angle. I just love this Minecraft, or perhaps even more of a retro feel than that. Perhaps this design goes even further back. But this car is all about space, so let's jump in and see exactly how these wonderful dimensions and proportions on the outside translate to the inside. On the inside, it is the tech festival that I was hoping it's going to be. First of all, I've got this massive screen. We've seen that in other Hyundais, and it is the same dual 12.3-inch screens, Siamese behind a single panel of Perspex or glass, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Works really well in this car, but I have way more screens to talk of. I've got a digital rear view camera back here for a very wide field of view, so even in a car that's long like this and has a relatively small rear window, I get a really broad field of view at the back. The next digital display is that head-up display, so even though I've got tons of information down here, a lot of it is translates onto the head-up display, and it keeps my eye line within the view of the road, so a nice safety feature. Speaking of safety features from the digital realm, I've also got those cameras on the doors, so I don't have mirrors. I've got an image projected or displayed on more displays, which is great. Now, it does give you a really big field of view. It almost eliminates the blind spot completely, but I'm still not sure whether my eyes work correctly with having to change the depth of looking into the distance outside of the car and then looking at a screen that's relatively close. That's a personal preference thing. Let me know in the comments below if you like those digital screens. For me personally, I prefer a natural mirror. The quality of materials in here is also quite notable. It hasn't gone over the top in design. It's actually quite restrained. I love this panel down here. It's a separate air conditioning panel, which is a good thing. It hasn't been incorporated into the main screen here. Nice clean look, and that's the general theme of the interior in here. It's got clean design, but also it feels tech focused and futuristic. I love this material here. Kind of looks like some kind of recovered asteroid, this strange minerally, metallic-y material. I really like that. It lifts the whole interior. I would like to see more of that over more surfaces. Storage as well is also worth talking about. I've got heaps of places to keep things. More than 12 litres of storage capacity in this central bin. The whole island actually slides backwards and forwards to make more or less space, and rear occupants can access that big 12-litre bin from the back seats as well. Really nice design feature. It also hinges from the opposite direction so they can get into the top. There's lots of clever design going on in here. I haven't seen the UV phone sanitizer in here yet, but I won't miss that. That's something I don't need in my life because I'm not doing weird stuff with my phone. It does have a wireless charger down here. Space features hugely in this car. Because it is full EV, I have a luggage area under the bonnet. If you go the dual motor version, it's about 50 litres. If you go the rear-wheel drive version, it's more than 80 litres. But even with all 7 seats in place, I've still got a 300 and something litre boot that expands to more than 600 litres with 5 seats in place, and if you fold all 6 seats at the back, 5 seats, you get an absolutely cavernous interior. So it is big on the outside, but big on the inside. It's fast. If you go the performance version, you get 0 to 100 in just over 4 seconds, which is pretty quick for a vehicle of this size. What I can't tell you is how much it weighs, which I suspect is going to be a lot. However, there is more exciting news about this car, as I promised you at the start, and that is, even though it's just been revealed today, I'm going to get to drive this thing tomorrow. Stay tuned for that video. Thanks for watching Chasing Cars.